Standard costing, a term that might sound dry and technical, is actually a topic that touches on the very heart of how manufacturing organizations operate. Let's take a moment to peel back the layers and explore the hidden challenges of standard costing in manufacturing, a system that has been around since the 1920s when Ford Motor Company first introduced it to streamline mass production. It was revolutionary back then, helping manufacturers set predetermined costs for materials, labor, and overhead. This allowed them to value inventory and measure performance in ways that were previously unimaginable. But fast forward to today, and we find ourselves in a very different world. In our current manufacturing landscape, we're dealing with rapid technological advancements, global supply chains, and market volatility that make the stable conditions of the past seem like a distant memory. Standard costing, which was once the gold standard for cost management, is now grappling with a fundamental disconnect from modern manufacturing realities. The truth is, the assumptions that underpin standard costing, like stable production processes and predictable input costs, simply don't hold up anymore. Take, for instance, the frequent fluctuations in material costs and labor rates. When actual conditions deviate from the established standards, we're left with variances that can become so large they lose all meaning. Imagine trying to make decisions based on outdated information. It's like trying to navigate a city you've never been to using a map from 20 years ago. It just doesn't work. Now, consider the rise of automation in manufacturing. In many highly automated facilities, direct labor accounts for a tiny fraction of total production costs. Yet, many organizations still base their overhead allocation on direct labor hours. This leads to distorted product costs that can skew critical decisions about pricing, product mix, and resource allocation. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't fit the reality of today's operations. Setting and maintaining accurate standards is another daunting challenge. The process usually involves a complex dance between engineering, purchasing, and production departments, each trying to estimate and predict costs based on their own perspectives. But by the time these standards are set, they can already be outdated. It's like trying to catch a moving train. You think you've got it, but it's already left the station. And let's not forget about the maintenance of these standards. Many organizations lack the resources or systems to keep their standards updated in real time. As a result, we often see standards that remain static for far too long, growing increasingly disconnected from reality. When this happens, variances can become so persistent that they lose their value as performance indicators. What was once a tool for measurement becomes a source of confusion and misdirection. The implications of these challenges are significant. Poorly set standards can distort decision-making, leading managers to make choices that harm profitability. For example, a product that appears profitable based on standard costs might actually be a money loser when you look at the actual costs. Conversely, a product that seems unprofitable might be a hidden gem, contributing significantly to the bottom line. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that distort your vision. You think you see clearly, but in reality, you're missing the bigger picture. This distortion of reality is especially problematic for companies with diverse product lines. Standard costing tends to overstate the costs of high-volume products while understating the costs of low-volume ones. This can lead to cross-subsidization, where unprofitable products are kept alive at the expense of more profitable opportunities. It's a classic case of missing the forest for the trees. Now, let's talk about technology. We live in an age of data, and while modern ERP systems have made it easier to track costs, they can also introduce new challenges. Many of these systems are built around traditional standard costing principles, which means they lack the flexibility to adapt to more sophisticated costing approaches. As a result, manufacturers find themselves stuck, unable to evolve their costing practices even when they know they need to. On top of that, the sheer volume of data generated in today's manufacturing environments can overwhelm traditional costing systems. Organizations often struggle to capture and analyze real-time cost information, leading to delays in recognizing variances. This time lag can result in persistent inefficiencies and missed opportunities for cost reduction. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Too much information, too little clarity. But the challenges don't stop there. We also have to consider the human element. Many accounting professionals and managers have built their careers around standard costing practices, and there can be significant resistance to change. This is especially true when proposed changes threaten existing power structures or require new skills. It's a classic case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, even when the system is clearly struggling. Moreover, standard costing can create dysfunctional incentives. When managers are evaluated based on variance reports, they might focus solely on meeting standard costs, ignoring other critical objectives like quality, innovation, or customer service. This narrow focus can lead to short-term thinking, where the quest for immediate results overshadows the need for long-term improvement. It's like running a marathon, but only training for the sprint. Eventually, you'll run out of steam. For manufacturers operating on a global scale, the challenges multiply. Currency fluctuations, varying labor rates, and different regulatory requirements across jurisdictions add layers of complexity to setting and maintaining standards. Trying to consolidate financial results across different regions becomes a Herculean task, often resulting in a convoluted web of standards and adjustments that consume resources while providing little practical value for decision-making. So, what's the way forward? The challenges of standard costing suggest that it's time for manufacturers to evolve their costing practices. This doesn't mean we should abandon standard costing entirely. Rather, we should supplement it with more sophisticated approaches that can provide better insights. Activity-based costing, target costing, and real-time cost tracking are all potential tools that can help bridge the gap between traditional methods and the demands of modern manufacturing. However, implementing these changes requires careful consideration. Manufacturers need to assess their specific needs and capabilities, explore available technology solutions, and devise implementation plans that address both technical and human factors. It's a balancing act, but one that's necessary for survival in today's fast-paced environment. Organizations must develop a clear strategy for evolving their costing systems. This strategy should include specific goals, timelines, and resource requirements for transitioning to more effective costing approaches. Investments in modern costing technologies that offer real-time information and advanced analytical capabilities are crucial. These investments should integrate seamlessly with existing ERP systems while enhancing flexibility and analysis. Equally important is the need for comprehensive training programs. It's essential to help accounting and operations personnel understand and effectively use new costing approaches. This training should not only focus on technical skills, but also emphasize the broader business context of cost management. In conclusion, the challenges of standard costing in manufacturing organizations are complex and multifaceted. While it continues to serve important functions in inventory valuation and basic cost control, its limitations increasingly hamper manufacturers' ability to make optimal decisions in today's dynamic business environment. Success in addressing these challenges requires a balanced approach that recognizes the historical value of standard costing while embracing the need for evolution. By evaluating their costing needs, investing in the right technology, and developing effective training programs, manufacturers can create costing systems that genuinely support their operations in the modern world. Only by acknowledging and actively tackling these challenges can we hope to build a future where costing practices empower manufacturers to thrive in an ever-changing landscape.